What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Larry's Speed and Performance. I'm Larry Dawkins. Thank you very much for subscribing. If you're a new subscriber, thank you very much. Thank you for liking the last videos, commenting, everything. It was really awesome to see, and I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about the RX-7, right here behind me. We're going to go over the overview of the car, the plan of the car, and what the future holds for this car. As you can see, it's a beautiful Bavarian day, 31 degrees outside. But it's not snowing, so we're going to work. Last video you saw me put the engine in the car. The engine's actually coming back out of the car today. I have all the hardware for it to put the clutch and transmission on. And then it's going back in the car hopefully tomorrow. I put it in the car to continue working. As you can see, I have the new Haltech harness laid out throughout the engine bay. I've made all 4 spark plug wires where they're supposed to be in proper length and everything. I have a bunch of spark plug cable left over, so I actually bought more boots to have a couple extra spares. The fuel system is about 85% complete. I'm waiting on other fittings to finish the hard lines, and then that'll be complete. But I have the soft lines -6 AN going in from the primary rail and secondary rail right into the fuel pressure regulator. The factory system has the supply come up to the primary rail, and then it goes into the secondary rail, and then back into a regulator, and then back into the tank. I changed it so I can have constant pressure at all times in both fuel rails, top and bottom. Once again, it's a 6-port rotary engine, 13B. Naturally aspirated. It's going to stay naturally aspirated. I've got 550cc injectors, Aeromotive fuel pump, and then all the electronics are controlled by Haltech. I've got the Haltech smart coils, MSD spark plug wires, Elite Rotary Shop oil filter pedestal, and then just some really good parts on this thing. As stated in the last video, I've had the car 7 years, and I've changed the wheels. I got first generation Mazda Rx7 badges on it. It looks really good on this car. The only other badges that came on this car were the Turbo 2 models and the GTU. It's silver, blue interior. So far the dash is out of the car. I pulled the dash out this week so I can eliminate some stuff, clean some stuff up, and more importantly, get the new Haltech ready to go. That's the factory ECU. This is all the Haltech wiring harness. That's the fuse block. Very, very nice kit. Very nice. It's fully terminated, ready to go. It even comes with a bunch of extra wires for other sensors, outputs, anything you want. Very happy with it. The interior is relatively clean. I don't know what happened there. The GoPro just cut out. But as I was saying, the interior is relatively clean, especially for being a 34-year-old car. I've got all the interior components, like all the dash stuff, the glove box, dash bezel, all that in the back of the car right now. This is going to be my central mounting location for the ECU and fuse block and wideband controller. Everything's going to be on this panel. It's going to look super clean, be very easy to work on. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. This is where the heater motor actually goes. Kind of need a heater, at least for defrosters. I don't care about vents, but at least to defrost. This car, it's not going to be a perfect car. It's not going to be a show car. It's going to be just a fun, clean driver. When the weather's good, take it out, enjoy it, have some fun with it. It's going to be stock seats, stock everything. I have new Racing Beat suspension to go on it, all the way around, polyurethane bushings, bigger sway bars, 1-inch lowering springs, double adjustable coilovers, and then other than that, like for the back roads, Bavaria, driving to work every now and again, just a car to enjoy. But we got a lot of work to do before we can get there, as you can see. So it looks worse than it is just because there's wires everywhere, but honestly, like, the car is probably like 80% done overall. Let's be honest, putting seats in a car is pretty easy. The dash goes in pretty easily. It came out with a lot of time to take it out, but I've never pulled a dash out of a car before, and there's a lot of hidden bolts. So once I figured out those and a lot of forum researching, it came out no problem. It's on these Rhino ramps right now, so I can actually get under the car and do stuff with it. The car's been sitting in my backyard for a year and a half now, and now now that it's cold, it's the perfect time to work on it. So, but straight car, very little rust. This car was a Kansas car for most of its life, and just like Germany, they do salt the roads in Kansas, so this has a little rust underneath. Nothing crazy, nothing irreparable. On the fender a little bit, it's bubbling a little bit, but that's really the only rust on the car. I did forget to mention, I just ordered brand new Racing Beat exhaust. So it's the full system, header all the way back to the mufflers, and it's going to be very bitchin'. It's going to sound good. It's going to be legal in Germany, which is very important. And it's going to sound really good, and more importantly, so what's on the car now, it's a kind of like a homemade setup. It's a off-brand header into a straight pipe into two MagnaFlow resignators in the back. Very loud, very obnoxious, and like it sounds good when you're full throttle and really letting it rip, but other than that, like it drones. You can't have a conversation in the car. It wasn't very drivable, especially in Germany. Like, you get a lot of attention from Bullseye, from people you don't want attention from, like military police and Bullseye. So now it's going to be drivable, sound very good. You can still have a conversation in the car, but it'll still have that clean rotary sound, and it won't get me in trouble anymore. So we're going to go inside. I'm going to get this engine out of the car, and then once the engine is out, I'll go over all the parts and goodies for this thing and talk a little more about that, like the Haltech computer, the dash, and just kind of lay out a general game plan for the future. And with a little bit of luck, this car is running by the end of January. So that would be, right now that's the goal. So, and I think it's doable. There's a bunch of little things. It's like the last 5% of a car always takes the 95% of the time. So anyway, I'm rambling right now. We're going to go inside, we're going to pull this engine out, and then we're going to talk about some parts. See you guys inside. Okay, so we got the motor out of the car. We have a little bit of an issue with the clutch. I had to grind out the old race this morning for the pilot bearing, and it worked out perfect. Even got some grease for it. Got the new pilot bearing installed with the seal, and then the clutch is too big. So the pressure plate is the same size as the flywheel, and I figured out it was off when I went to go put the center hole on the dowels. There's 3 dowels on the flywheel itself. You can, where is it? It's yep, those dowels right there, your locating dowels. So I did have a couple issues with the clutch this morning. It was, the pressure plate was too big. I got it on Rock Auto. They said it fit the car. Everything I've researched says it would fit the car. And in fact, the pressure plate is a 1/4 inch too big. The clutch disc itself fit perfectly. There was no issues with that. Even had clearance with the bolting holes all around here. But the pressure plate's too big. I noticed that when I went to go locate it on the dowels. No big deal. Already ordered a new clutch. It's on the way. I've got the same clutch. It's just a different part number, and I even measured it to make sure. So we're good now. So that'll be here in about 2 weeks, hopefully. And then I went with the Exedy Stage 1 clutch. It's actually the same clutch that I was about to install today, but it's just a different size pressure plate. That's all. So it's going from a 233 millimeter to a 224 millimeter, which is perfect. That's the size I need. Other than that, we're gonna put all the accessories on that we can today.
We're gonna put the water pump on. We're gonna do the lower intake manifold for the final time. Right now you can probably see I got some tape to block off the ports, so when it was in the car nothing got in the engine itself. Still got the rags in the exhaust, got the fuel rails all capped off, and then other than that we're just gonna get a bunch of work done today, a bunch of the small stuff. That way when the clutch arrives, we can put the clutch on, install the transmission, and right in the car it goes.
I'm going to show you guys now everything I bought for the car. Well, almost everything. This is basically like all the cool stuff, not all the little like nuts and bolts. I did spend $200 in bolts. Just bolts. So, but it's all the hardware I need. A big problem with this engine before is that there was a million different size bolts for the same things. Even the intake manifold had 6 or 7 different size bolts, which is very annoying to taking it off. So I've converted. I got all the same bolts for everything now, and they're all the Allen head bolts I'm about to show you right now.
So right now this is the table of goodies. All the big stuff for the car. This is all the remaining fuel line stuff. So I've got my Dash 6 hardline. I've got the flaring tool. I've got the all the bag of fittings and everything. And then we got a bunch of different stuff. I got these on Amazon. These are just, you can have them as spray bottles or normal bottles. But I'm going to be pre-mixing the Rx7, which means I'll be using oil mixed with the fuel to lubricate the engine. So I got these. These are 4 10-ounce bottles, which is perfect. I'm running 10 ounces for a full tank of gas. I've got these nifty little anodized aluminum fuel line separators for the car, so the fuel lines don't rub on anything. That's the water pump ready to go in. I got a vacuum kit to block off all the old vacuum ports I don't need, all the old emission stuff. Then the fun stuff. So this is my Haltech IC7 dash. Beautiful, beautiful dash. It's a 7-inch display. It's got the CAN connection in the back. It just plugs right into the ECU, no problem. And then the top is for the USB, and it just for configuration. It's a fully configurable dash. I'll do another video on that when I actually get it running, showing all the features of that and showing the program and stuff like that. But you can change everything on this dash, and you can set it up however you want to set it up. Any display screens or anything you want. Then this is what will be controlling the car. This is the Haltech Elite 1000. Very, very high-end ECU. It's got the internal map sensor, but I'll be running a external map sensor. So this port will be for altitude adjustment. So if you drive to like sea level, it'll automatically correct the tune. If you drive all the way up to the mountains, it'll already correct the tune and compensate for the dense or more dense or less dense air, depending on where you're at with that port right there. It's a 3-bar internal map sensor. And then here you got all your connections. So this is the CAN port that will plug into the dash and the wideband controller. And then your USB ports to tune the ECU in the car. And then the engine harness just connects right there.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. I really appreciate the support in growing the channel, and we'll continue making videos. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and go ahead and like the video, comment if you want. I'll answer all the comments and everything. But yeah, we'll have, hopefully the next video, we'll have a little more progress on it and get some more stuff done and get this thing running. Like I said, the plan is end of January, have this car running. So we got a lot of work to do before then. But once again, thanks for watching Larry Speed and Performance. Have a great day.